Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your Primetime Weekend News Bulletin with me, Shayan Silva. Now, the grand finale of the Shakti Junior Superstar Season 3 was held at the Stein Studios in Ratmalana. We'll have the details of that story in a few minutes, but before that, here's a look at your headlines.
Protests against the removal of shops from PETA. Two farming communities in Andhra engaged in a heated debate on the distribution of water. Consumers charge that rice is being sold at higher prices, citing the drought. Nilusha Vimal Singh of Kaudula receives much needed assistance from a generous benefactor. Rangana Herath becomes the first left-arm spinner to bag 9 wickets in an innings and the second Sri Lankan to accomplish this feat.
The grand finale of Shakti Junior Superstar Season 3 concluded at the Stein Studio in Ratmalana this evening. Yogarajan Vaishalini from Dehiwala was crowned the winner of Shakti Junior Superstar Season 3.
The grand finale of Shakti Junior Superstar Season 3 commenced this evening at the Stein Studio complex in Ratmalana. A number of leading officials of the Capital Maharaja organization were present at the grand finale.
3, 2, 1.
Out of thousands of contestants who were vying for the crown of Junior Superstar, 4 contestants representing 4 different regions advanced to the grand finale. Kannadasan Indrajit from Bantaravilla, Amarnath Amrita from Vellavata, Yogarajan Vaishalini from Dehiwala, Chandrasekharan Vadusha from Navalapitiya,
இறுதி வரை இதயத்துடன் இன்று தமிழ் பேசும் நெஞ்சங்கள் உங்களுக்கு இப்படியான பெரிய நிகழ்ச்சியை தரக்கூடிய கைங்கரியத்தை கொண்டிருக்கக்கூடிய திரு மகாராஜா அவர்களை நாங்கள் மேடை கலைக்கின்றோம் என்று பரிசனை வழங்குவதற்கு மிகப்பெரிய கரகோஷத்துக்கு மத்தியில் இப்படி மூத்தோர், தயாரித்தோர், விற்பனர்கள் எங்களை இயக்கிக் கொண்டிருப்பவர்கள் மத்தியில் பல்லாயிரக்கணக்கான நேர்கள் நேரடியாக பார்க்க லட்சக்கணக்கானோர் அந்த ஒருவர் வைசாலே.
However, it was Yogarajan Vaishalini from Dehiwala who won the hearts of the masses and was crowned the winner of Shakti Superstar Season 3.
திரு மகாராஜா அவர்களை நாங்கள் மேடை கலைக்கின்றோம். அதே நேரம் மோகன் பராரா அவர்களை மேடை கலைக்கின்றோம். சிவான் மற்றும் கென்னடி அவர்களை நாங்கள் மேடை கலைக்கின்றோம். பாராளுமன்றத்தினர் ஜே ஸ்ரீரங்கா அவர்கள் அதற்கான பரிசினை கிண்ணத்தை வழங்குவார்கள். மகாராஜா அவர்கள் கிண்ணத்தினையும் வழங்கி வைப்பார்கள். இப்போது இருவருமாக இணைந்து இந்த முதல் பரிசுக்கான கிண்ணம் வழங்கப்படுவது மிகப்பெரிய கரகோஷம். வைசாலி வெற்றியாளர் மாத்திரமல்ல, இலங்கையின் உன்னதமான தரத்திலிருந்து அந்த கேடத்தை பெற்றுக்கொள்ளும் ஒரு மிகப்பெரிய பாக்கியசாலியாக கருதப்படுகின்றார்.
Kannadasan Indrajit came in second in the Shakti Junior Superstar competition.
The Urban Development Authority informed shop owners who had set up stalls on the pavement in Bastian Mawata in PETA to vacate their stalls as they are to be demolished this evening.
A tense situation arose in the PETA area following the announcement. Shopkeepers state that their stalls are being removed in an unfair manner. I own about 6 to 7 shops. I will be left penniless and will be forced to beg. I cannot do anything. We are in debt to the tune of nearly 2 million to 3 million rupees. At least let us stay till the 12th month. Should our children pay our debts as well? Attorney at law Sunil Vatagala, who appeared on behalf of these shop owners, noted that this was an unfair decision.
පසුගිය 11 වෙනිදා 2014 8 වෙනිදා තීන්දුවක් ගත්ත මානහිකම් කොමිසමේදී මේ කඩ ඉවත්.
On the 11th of August 2014, the Human Rights Commission took a decision stating that it was unfair to remove these shops. It was decided not to demolish these shops till the case concluded. This is illegal, unfair and unethical. We only request that you delay the decision to remove these shops.
මේ කඩ ඉවත් කිරීමේ කටයුත්ත తాවකාලිකව අත්හිටවන්න කියන ඉල්ලීම පමණයි අපි මේ කියන්නේ.
The Urban Development Authority stated that the shop owners will be granted room in the new floating market complex being constructed in Peta.
We have allocated locations for them. The issue is that they are not moving there. They are acting lethargically. We will definitely remove these shops to complete this project.
There are around 100 to 200 shops. They cannot accommodate us in mere 80 stalls. We don't need bungalows or palaces. Let us maintain a couple of shops to make ends meet. About 10 to 14 people rely on us. Provide us with some relief, even if it is for 5 months. Then we can find other shops and move our goods to them. Provide us with some relief.
We will provide our assistance to develop their businesses. We have allocated the necessary infrastructure facilities. This is the current situation.
A tense situation arose between two farming communities who have been battered by the drought with regard to the distribution of water in the Hambantota area. The parties in question were from the Andaravava and the Dimutugama villages.
Farming communities in the lower Andaravava and Dimutugama villages in Hambantota rely on water from the Mal Ara for their water requirements. Farmers from Andaravava charge that the farmers of Dimutugama had blocked the Mal Ara and have been obtaining water using pipes. Thereafter, irrigation officers and police took measures to reopen the canal by removing the obstructions as well as the pipelines that were installed amidst much protest from the farmers of Dimutugama.
Now, the drought conditions that is being experienced in various parts of the country has affected numerous families. This report is about the plight faced by people in the northern province whose houses have also begun to show the effects of the drought.
A large number of families in the north central and northeastern provinces have been affected by the drought. Rivers, tanks and other water sources have completely dried up, causing great inconvenience to the general public. This is the manner in which houses have begun to crack during the intense heat and dry weather in the Murasumodai and Setukandi areas in Kilinochi. Area residents of Murukandi and Savapuram told Newsfirst that they have recorded to digging dried up wells in a bid to obtain what little water they can. Families around the country who have been battered by the drought continue to gaze to the heavens, expecting the rains to fall any day.
Today is an unforgettable day for Nilusha Vimalasinghe, who is a resident of the drought-stricken village of Bisobandara, which is located in the Kaudulla electorate in Madrigiria.
These visuals were aired on Newsfirst on the 31st of last month. Nilusha, who lives in Madrigiria, undertook a daily routine of descending 30 feet into the well to obtain water for her family. After having seen this report on Newsfirst, Buddhika Kadurugamua, a lawyer by profession and a resident in England, donated monetary relief to Nilusha. Two actresses arrived at Nilusha's house to make the donation and were left in disbelief after having seen the depth of the well. Nilusha, a mother who was unable to bear the tears of her children, was left with no choice but to descend into the well to quench their thirst in such harsh conditions.
They gave me this money and requested me to dig the well deep enough so that it would be able to endure over 7 droughts and I would not have to descend into the well again. I would like to thank Sirasa TV for their assistance.
A program was launched today in the Polonnaruwa sanctuary to provide drinking water to animals that have been affected by the drought. Now, the Wildlife Department stated that they commenced this program to safeguard the lives of animals who venture in search of water.
The Polonnaruwa sanctuary, which spans across 1,500 acres, is rich in biodiversity and is home to many fauna. A number of small water sources usually supply these animals with adequate drinking water. However, nearly all of these water sources have dried up due to the drought. According to the Wildlife Department, this area is home to nearly 500 deer and countless troops of monkeys and chevrotains. The program was carried out by the Wildlife Department together with the Department of Archaeology and the Central Cultural Fund of Polonnaruwa. When the smaller water sources dry up, the animals head to larger sources like the Parakama Samudra. Many of them have to cross the road to make their way to these sources, and because of this, accidents happen which could harm their lives. We are attempting to minimize this by providing water to them in their natural habitats. Wildlife Department officials noted that the water barrels located around the sanctuary will be periodically filled up.
Merchants have begun selling paddy at higher prices, citing the drought causing an increase in the prices of rice. Now, farmers point out that this is being done by traditional merchants and large-scale businessmen.
Paddy harvests have dramatically reduced due to the prevailing drought conditions. Farmers charge that their income decreased by nearly 30% as a result of this.
We incurred losses because there was no water or fertilizer. We are not sure if we could cultivate during the next season.
The main reason for this is the amount of water we received. We have harvested our crops. They came to our farmlands and brought it for us for 34 to 36 rupees. By now they are selling it for nearly 41 to 42 rupees. It is the middleman that earns a profit. We cannot buy rice at these prices. This will lead to food of low quality entering the market. This is a calamity. The control price for Kakadu rice is 60 rupees. However, the market price is 74 rupees. Samba rice cannot be found in the market. A certified price was established for paddy, while a control price was established for rice for the protection of both farmers and consumers. Some merchants have convinced paddy farmers to part with their produce for higher prices. When considering the price of paddy and the quality needed, it is easier to sell to private buyers who arrive at their doorsteps. However, this has led to an increase in the price of rice in the market.
Journalists say we can buy rice for low cost. However, we cannot find these prices in the market.
They say there's a government control price. However, we cannot buy rice for this price at retail shops.
The prices are high. It cannot be borne by the common man.
Paddy purchased at high prices are in turn sold to merchants at even high prices. We also like to provide the consumers with low-cost goods. We are small retail shop owners. We cannot obtain rice for the prices given through the media. We keep a commission of around 2 to 3 rupees, but once you pay for transport, we lose this as well. The brunt of these actions are eventually borne by the consumers. The Consumer Affairs Authority, however, notes that they will not allow rice to be sold above the stipulated price. Inspection officers have reported that the prices of rice are high. A large number of people have already been arrested. The attention of Subject Minister Johnston Fernando has been focused on this. We will decide if a wholesale control price needs to be established. The Director General noted that the public could lodge complaints in this regard through the hotline 0771 088 922. The number once again 0771 088 922.
Let's now take a look at your weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
A very good evening and welcome to Weather First. The Department of Meteorology states that several spells of showers could occur in the western, central and Sabragama parts of the island. Showers may also occur in the Uva as well as the eastern parts of the island as well. Now, localized strong winds could develop during these thunder showers. The Met Department adds that strong winds may occur in the coastal belt of Puttalam to Galle and Hambantota to Pothuwil and will reach up to 50 kilometers per hour, resulting in strong seas.
Coming up on the news tonight. Developments in artificial intelligence allow swarms of robots to form shapes. What does the future hold for these innovations? Details later on in the bulletin.
වාහනයක් ඇවිල්ලා අපව හප්පගෙන ගියා. අම්මා ඒක දැකලා අම්මාව තල්ලු කරාම නන්ද කෙනෙක් ඇවිල්ලා මාව බදාගත්තා. මාව මේ ලයිට් කණු හැපෙන්න යන හින්දා.
That was Kanishka Gimhan, a student who was supposed to sit for the Grade 5 scholarship examination tomorrow. Now, although Kanishka Gimhan's mother was able to save his life, she and his younger sister were not as lucky. They passed away after meeting with an accident along Pragati Mawata in Kahatulua.
For many students around the country, the Grade 5 scholarship examination is the first major academic hurdle they face. Kanishka Gimhan, a Grade 5 student of Olabodua Vidyalaya, went to visit his teachers yesterday to seek their blessings for tomorrow's examination. He was accompanied by his mother and younger sister. They were part of a group of 4 mothers and 7 children, including 4 other students who were due to sit for the scholarship examination. After visiting the house of their teachers, they set out for home once more.
We
met with the teacher and began the journey home at around 3. The teacher gave us gifts and told us to study well. When we were traveling to the bus stop, a vehicle came and knocked us down. My mother saw it and pushed me aside. An auntie came and hugged me because I was about to hit an electricity post. One mother went to a shop and the others proceeded to the bus halt in this manner. A lorry which came from this side ran over them and went into the shrubbery area. A mother and child was run over.
The child had passed away at the location. My daughter-in-law passed away after being admitted to the hospital. She had passed away when they attempted to take her to Kalubovila.
The deceased 37-year-old Nirosha Kumari had worked hard to ensure that her 2 children would be able to lead better lives. Her daughter Kavisha Sewandi was 5 years old. I am currently opposite the Vatra hospital. The remains of the mother and daughter who died in last evening's accident are currently lying in this hospital. The current time is 9:15 a.m. We were able to witness the coroner arrive at the location and take the necessary steps to carry out investigations into the death. Kanishka's sister Kavisha Sewandi was receiving her education at a preschool in the Olabodua area.
The child was gifted. We were very sad to hear the news yesterday.
The 4 other students who sustained injuries in the accident have been admitted to the National Hospital as well as the Columbus South Teaching Hospital. According to the police, the driver of the lorry has been taken into custody and is due to be produced before court.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa engaged in an inspection tour of the Agricultural Research Station in Sita earlier to inspect the seed potato production process.
The president who toured the centre's farm also inspected the laboratories present in the research centre. The presidential media unit stated that a group of potato farmers also engaged in a discussion with the president during his visit. The main purpose of the Agricultural Research Station at Sirthalia is to produce seed potatoes of high quality so as to minimize the dependence on foreign imports. It also conducts research into developing different varieties of seed potatoes.
And it's time now for the battle for Uber.
They took up parliamentary positions and ministerial positions. Now they are hoarding wealth. They come into power to attain wealth, then they use it to gain more wealth. This is why the people become poorer. Once the UA election is over, we will need a bus to transport the people who want to cross over. This is the truth. The elders engage in politics, then their sons and daughters take up the mantle. This is how the opposition leader of Kataragama was appointed, and this was how the Bandarawala electoral organizer was appointed. Due to the actions of a few, those who act in a proper manner are also facing difficulties. The entire country will become crippled if this continues. Just ask the provincial councillors who were in power how many policies they brought forward for the betterment of the people over the past 5 years. They challenged us to get a 2/3 majority in the northwestern province. We got it both in the northwest and in the central province. They said we are corrupt and that we spread violence. However, look at how the people reacted and how they treated us. 80 members of Iraq's Yazidi minority have been massacred by the Islamic State fighters. Details coming up on the Newsfirst International Desk.
Welcome back to the news. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party Beruwala Balamandala meeting was held today. The chief guest at the event, which was held at the Beruwala Urban Council grounds, was Minister Basil Rajapaksa. UPFA General Secretary Minister Susil Premajayantha and Minister Raj Senaratne were also present at the occasion. Minister Raj Senaratne expressed these views on several allegations levelled against him.
An allegation has been levelled against me. Such an allegation has never been levelled against me. They say they have found out a lot of things about me. If this is true, they must be as good as the great investigator Sherlock Holmes. The Mahanayaka Theros told me that if they don't agree to this, then the 4 Mahanayaka Theros can issue a joint statement against them. They instructed the parliamentarians and ministers to form a broad alliance to protect Buddhism, which is led by the Mahanayaka Theros. Whatever happens, this will remain.
Up next, our special segment Is It Solved, where we revisit problems faced by the public previously highlighted by Newsfirst to inquire into whether they have captured the attention of the relevant authorities.
On the 6th of this month, Newsfirst revealed that the bridge which leads to the Subodu village in Haliala Badulla is in a dilapidated condition and poses a risk to the commuters who use it on a daily basis. The Haliala Pradesh Sabha has reacted to this issue promptly.
We have received a bridge through the Rural Bridges program being carried out through the Ministry of Economic Development. Once the 30-foot long bridge is constructed, area residents will even be able to use vehicles on this bridge.
On Monday, Newsfirst reported on a water leak in a pipe which is located on the Ragama Kadawatha main road in close proximity to the Basilica College. The Ragama branch of the Water Supply and Drainage Board reacted promptly and took steps to immediately reconstruct the pipe. Newsfirst on the 6th of August reported that a carbonic fertilizer production facility located in the Maharatmale village in Min area, which began 5 years ago, is in a dilapidated state. However, the authorities are yet to turn their attention to this issue.
The first phase of the development work of the Gregory Park Garden is currently underway under the guidance of Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa and the Urban Development Authority.
Development work on the Gregory Park Garden began in 2012 under the Mahinda Chintana Idiri Dagma program, and it is currently in its final stages. This location earlier served as a location which was used to dump garbage.
We had several key aims. One of them was to create an environment which provides the necessary facilities for tourists that come here. We need to provide them with necessary sanitary as well as recreational facilities. This garden serves these purposes.
The UDA, together with the Sri Lanka Army, had implemented this project, and a majority of the development work on this project was conducted by Army personnel. Once completed, the park will boast of exercise tracks, a car park, play area, flower garden, as well as an amphitheatre.
The second leg of the Cycle for Life campaign, a fundraiser organized to establish an open heart surgery unit at the Jaffna Hospital, commenced today.
The participants departed Vavuniya early this morning and reached Anuradhapura at 8 a.m. Thereafter, the cyclists made their way to Kurunagala. The MTV and MBC Media Network is the media partner of the Cycle for Life campaign organized by the Oxonian Heart Foundation. 60 students from the Jaffna University are participating in a Cycle for Life campaign. The cyclists are to arrive in Colombo tomorrow via Kurunagala and Ambe Pussa.
94 Indian fishermen in Sri Lankan custody were handed over to Indian authorities today in line with the Indian Independence Day.
Navy media spokesperson Kosala Varnakula Surya noted that the fishermen were handed over to Indian Coast Guard authorities off the coast of Kankasanturi and Talaimana. The fishermen from Ramanathapuram, Nagapatnam and Pudukkottai areas in India had been arrested recently for violating the Sri Lankan maritime boundary. The fishermen were released in line with Indian Independence Day based on directive by the President.
Up to 15 Islamic State fighters have been killed in airstrikes near Mosul Dam amid reports of a massacre in Sinjar. Newsfirst Zulfiq Farzan has been closely monitoring the situation in Iraq and Syria since the ISIS, now known as IS, stormed out of the desert and headed to capture the capital, Baghdad.
Kurdish officials say some 80 members of Iraq's Yazidi minority have been massacred by Islamic State fighters in the north of Iraq. In addition to the massacre, over 100 local women have been kidnapped from their village. The massacre comes hours after the United Nations Security Council took a tough line against the Islamic State group in Iraq and Syria. The United Nations Security Council has blacklisted 6 persons of the Islamic State, including the group's spokesperson, and threatened sanctions against its financiers and weapons suppliers. The 15-member council unanimously adopted a resolution that aims to weaken the Islamic State, an Al-Qaeda splinter group that has seized swaths of territory in Iraq and Syria and declared a caliphate, an Al-Qaeda Syrian wing, Al-Nusra Front. Islamic State has long been blacklisted by the Security Council, while Nusra Front was added earlier this year. Both groups are designated under the UN Al-Qaeda sanctions regime. The Islamic State's swift and brutal push to the borders of Iraq's autonomous ethnic Kurdish region and towards Baghdad has sparked the first US airstrikes in Iraq since the withdrawal of American troops in 2011. One of Iraq's most powerful Sunni tribal leaders said he was ready to work with the new Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi provided he protected the rights of the minority sect, which was marginalized by Maliki.
نريد تغيير العمل السياسي أو السنة يأخذون حقوقهم اللي خرجوا من أجلها، وبالتالي هذا مرهون. طبعا احنا مو نظرتنا للحكومة، نظرتنا راح تظل متشائمة لحين ما نشوف الأفعال لا الأقوال. يعني تغير المالكي، جاء العبادي رجل من نفس الحزب، ولكن نعطي فرصة، دائما نعطي فرص احنا، وبالتالي ننتظر نشوف شنو برنامج الحكومة، شنو رؤيتها نحو حل الأزمة، وإذا ما شفنا أي شيء فالثورة مستمرة.
As the death toll from the West Africa Ebola outbreak passed 1,000, the US Food and Drug Administration is warning against products that claim to be the cure for the disease or prevent infection. Doctors Without Borders say it will take at least another 6 months to get the Ebola outbreak in West Africa under control, and that it requires greater leadership from the World Health Organization. The Ebola epidemic threatens to jeopardize the fragile economies of the affected West African countries, and it will take at least 6 months to control.
I really had the feeling that it is like a wartime in terms of fear, general fear all over where you are, nobody not understanding what's going on. The other thing is it's like a front line. It's moving, it's advancing, but we have no clue how it's going to go around. And as well, if we don't stabilize Liberia, we'll never stabilize the whole region.
The Ebola virus is described as a group of viruses that cause a deadly kind of hemorrhagic fever, which means it causes bleeding inside and outside the body. The virus has a long incubation period of approximately 8 to 21 days. Early symptoms include fever, muscle weakness, diarrhea, sore throat, and headaches. As the disease progresses, the virus can impair kidney and liver function. Ebola gets its name from the Ebola River in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which was near the site of one of the first outbreaks. The virus was first reported in 1976 in 2 almost simultaneous outbreaks in Sudan and the Congo. It's one of the most deadly viruses on Earth, with a fatality rate that can reach between approximately 50 to 90%. Unfortunately, there is no cure.
It was the Rangan Herath show at the SSC grounds today as the left-arm spinner continued to bamboozle the Pakistani batsman on day 3 of the second test against Pakistan. However, the limelight was stolen from Herath today as Kumar Sangakkara and Mahela Jayawardena paired up to dazzle the Sri Lankan fans for one last time.
Pakistan resumed their first innings on 244 for the loss of 6 wickets on day 3. Rangan Herath continues to bewilder the Pakistani batsmen and restricted them to a first innings score of 332 runs. Herath picked up 9 wickets for 127 runs and became the only left-arm spinner to accomplish this feat. Herath, who is the second Sri Lankan to achieve this feat after Muthaiya Muralidharan, is now eyeing Muralidharan's record of most number of wickets in 2 test series. Shahbaz Ahmed top scored for the visitors with 103 runs. Sri Lanka, who began their innings trailing by 12 runs, got off to a steady start with an opening stand of 54. Upul Taranga, who looked menacing, was dismissed for 45 runs. Kaushal Silva fell shortly afterwards for 17 runs. Kumar Sangakkara meanwhile went on to reach his 51st test half-century. At stumps on day 3, Sri Lanka were 177 for the loss of 2 wickets, with Mahela Jayawardena, who is playing in his final test match, unbeaten on 49.
The second Youth Olympics kicked off this evening after a colorful opening ceremony in Nanjing, China. Over 3,000 sportsmen and women from across the world will compete at this edition of the Youth Olympics. The opening ceremony was made colorful with a number of cultural performances that highlighted the rich Chinese culture. Chair of the Internal Olympic Committee, Timas Bach, who also graced the occasion, emphasized that the Youth Olympics will develop friendship amongst the youth, protecting the spirit of the sport. 9 youth are representing Sri Lanka in Nanjing this time around. The Sri Lankan contingent is led by Lankan swimming champion Matthew Abesinghe.
Continue well beyond South Asia.
Engineers in the US have built a swarm of 1,000 little robots that can shuffle into specific formations on command. Now each of the identical bots is given a picture of the required shape, and then they work together to make it happen. It takes up to 12 hours, but then it is the biggest throng of robots ever built and studied in this way. We leave you tonight with footage of these small bots known as kilobots.
Hotline 0114-896-896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.